What's up, YouTube? It's Artisan MC, and this is just my Father's Day watch list. So, there are certain movies that I watch yearly, and not just for holidays, but for specific days. There's movies that I watch every year. Think of it like reading the same book every year because you enjoy it so much. Okay? And a couple of these movies are on my list I want to share with you guys, and these are what I consider my Father's Day movies. These are movies that you should watch on Father's Day because it has basically a message about fathers and their children and how fathers interact with their freaking children. Now, two of these movies are my favorite. The third one is one that I like, but I do not watch every year. But given the climate of what's going on right now, I thought it was poignant to mention this one. So I will throw that into the mix too. Okay, so first movie being its favorite, Taken. Now, why do I like Taken with Liam Neeson? I like Taken with Liam Neeson for this reason primarily. This is a story about a man. He is divorced. It's not with his wife that he had his child with anymore. She has a new guy that's making some money and kind of doing what he can't do, in the situation. But he still loves his child and still has a good relationship with his child. In this situation, it's a daughter. Now, in this movie, you will find out that, of course, Liam Neeson's character is like a ex-special operator, right? So he's been in the military and he knows how to do some shit. But in typical divorced dad situation, where the mother thinks she's elevated and upgraded, the ex-wife gives him shit and always kind of undermines him. And that's the problem, because she tries to undermine him with his daughter when it comes to her going overseas with her girlfriend to Europe, for the summer or some shit like that. And they're young. They're like, 17, 18, some young shit like that, which to me would be suspect, right? The father tells him it's not safe, and he would know because he's been a special operator in Europe and stuff like that, knows the shit that goes on. And the mother kind of overrules him and lets the girl go anyway. Well, come to find out, the daughter's girlfriend is a little bit of a hooch, and she ain't gave all the details, which trifling little chicks will do. And they end up in Europe by themselves in this house. Now, what happens? The motherfuckers get kidnapped on some human trafficking shit because they're not world wise enough to know that certain people you don't fucking talk to fresh off the plane at the damn airport. Now, what happens next? The father is the one who has to go and retrieve these kids, retrieve his daughter. And how does he get involved? Because the ex-wife actually, needs that help. She can only rely on him to do it. Now, with the new husband's all his money and all the rest of that shit, he fucking weak sauce. Weak sauce. He can't do nothing about that shit. Now they need the actual man in the situation who don't got the money, who got the goddamn skills. And Liam Neeson puts this shit together. His character puts it together and goes overseas and finds his fucking daughter. Now, he killed a lot of motherfuckers in the process, and I totally agree with that shit, because if it comes down to you and your child, everybody in between you and your child is forfeit. Sorry. It's just the way I see it. So that's why I love this movie. When I first saw this movie, I said, this is my Father's Day movie. This is my favorite Father's Day movie. And I'm watching this every day on Father's Day because of that. And I do. I hold to that shit. Because I know if something like that were to happen to my daughter, that's probably going to be my fucking reaction. It's going to be fucking severe. So, that's why I consider it a Father's Day movie. Because this father goes out there and handles business to make sure he gets his fucking child back. And that his child is safe. And for me, it's a far cry from the Sally Fields movie, Not Without My Daughter, where she went out there begging to get the fucking kid back. No. It also showed how Disrespecting fathers is not helpful. Trying to sideline them and push them out of kids' lives is not helpful. You had that baby by that dude for some reason. So that's probably what it is. Now, the next movie is not so violent, in a sense, okay? The next movie is just, to me, kind of sweet, okay? Next movie is Jersey Girl by Kevin Smith, all right? And it stars Ben Affleck, George Carlin, and what's her name? Fake Selena for a minute. I'm forgetting her. Jennifer Lopez. I don't know why I was forgetting that for a second. Weird. Age. Anyway, in this movie, you have a guy who is, a hotshot flack, media guy who promotes people's movies and stuff like that. And it happens around the 90s and stuff, right? So he's a hotshot guy, young, making a lot of money, and he meets Jennifer Lopez's character, fall in love, get married, and eventually have a baby. Okay? Now, Jennifer Lopez's character is in this movie and out this movie quickly, so don't get attached to her ass, and that's fine. I don't have anything against J-Lo. It's just her being in the movie killed the fucking movie. That's just what it is for me. Okay? Now, J-Lo's character dies in childbirth and leaves this guy who was planning to have all this with his wife with this child. Fucked up part is he kind of resents the child. Doesn't know how to be a fucking father. And now he is left with this child to do his highly stressful and involved job with this child. And put it this way, it doesn't fucking mix well. If you watch the movie, you'll find out why. It doesn't mix well. So, after it didn't mix well, and he ends up losing his fucking job and all the money and all the rest of that shit that made him who he was, he's forced to go back to Jersey and stay with his father, with his child, and get his shit in his head back together. And you go through getting to see this guy grow into a father and learn father lessons about parenting a daughter. And you get to see him try to date again a little bit and what that looks like and just some funny situations around that. But what you also get to see is an elder father speaking to his son who is now a father and trying to re-instill in him those lessons that that older father already had to learn, teaching him how to be a better fucking father. Plain and simple. And I say it's a sweet movie because it's a Kevin Smith movie, so it has a lot of geek shit in it. That's just what the fuck it is. I love Kevin Smith movies because of that. It's a lot of geek stuff. He's a fucking geek, but the actors he uses I always like. I love George Carlin as a comedian and an actor. Like Ben Affleck, don't mind him at all. Don't mind J-Lo, right? But it's good performances in this movie that I like, and it actually hits home with the character understanding that his most important job after he had that kid was not what he used to be. It's who the fuck he is now. This child's parent. And that's the most important job. And he has to become comfortable with that. So I like this movie because he cares about his daughter and it shows a really good relationship between a father and daughter. As you know, I have a son and I have a daughter. What the hell out of my daughter? What the hell out of my son? It goes without fucking saying. Right? So movies like that really mean something to me. All right? Now, the last one, which is just my pick for the season, it is a favorite movie of mine, but I don't watch it every freaking year. It's one of the ones I don't watch every year. But I'll probably watch it again this year because I used it recently in a video. Okay? But it's Boys in the Hood by John Singleton, starring Cuba Gooding Jr. and Lawrence Fishburne. Now, I love this movie for multiple reasons. The main reason I will say I love it is for Furious Styles, Lawrence Fishburne's character. Because Furious Styles is a single black man raising his son in South Central LA. amongst the gangs and all that stuff, and trying to keep him walking the right path and surviving this shit. Now, for me, this movie was personally just edifying just for the fact that I had seen other black fathers displayed on shows and different media and stuff like that. This one in this movie stuck out. The performance Lawrence Fishburne gave stuck the fuck out. This character was a mix of a lot of different heroes, but he was a real character. He was very real in how he approached the scenes, depicted it, and spoke to the other actors. You could feel that shit coming through the screen. I will say, just for me, because one, I wasn't raised with my father, Furious Styles was the archetype for how I chose to be as a father. And I was a young father. He was prototypical of what I thought a father should be. And it was displayed right there on the fucking screen. Understanding, patience, firmness, and direction. And a line in the sand. The most powerful line for me in this movie was when he held his son and told him, "You're my only son, and I'm not going to lose you to no bullshit." And that's the God's honest truth of how I felt about my son. Nothing was going to stand in the way of me and my son, and I wasn't going to lose him to anybody or anything. Nothing was going to fuck that up. Not a thing. So, obviously, in this movie, you get Cuba Gooding Jr. as his son growing up in this situation. Seeing the gangs, being involved with the streets, not trying to be out in the streets doing no wild shit, but still getting pulled into it in different ways and having to deal with the grief and loss of his friend and growing into a man himself within this situation. And that was powerful. Now, this was John Singleton's first movie. It was a powerful movie. Yeah, Ice Cube is in it. It got a lot of hood shit in it. It doesn't matter. The character wasn't about the story was not about a hood nigga. It was about a nigga living in the hood. And that's the part to take from it. How you can come from this place and try not to be involved in all this stuff, and how hard it is to not be involved in all this stuff and still try to do something productive for yourself. It's hard. But it's harder raising a child in that environment and trying to keep them from getting wrapped up and swallowed up in it. It's damn hard. It's damn hard. So that was it. Those are my 3 picks for Father's Day movie watching. If you want to Sunday binge it, because that's exactly what it would be. So that's it for this one. Like, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.